Hello everyone, welcome back, and today we are going over the tropics, and severe weather. So let's go ahead and get into this. So first we're going to start off with the tropics, and we're going to start off here with Invest 94L. This is just north of Central America, and it is about to make a landfall in portions of Mexico. But then it will get back into the Gulf. But as of now, it has a 30% chance of development in the next 48 hours and 7 days. So I do not expect this system to do too much. But when we look behind it, we really have to watch out for these. So this system in the red here has a 100% chance of development in the next 48 hours and 7 days. So they are saying this is going to develop into a tropical depression or tropical storm here within the next 48 hours, but it most likely will become a tropical depression within the next update or two. And they actually talk about that. They say if these trends continue for the organization, a tropical depression will likely form later today. And then we have a system right behind it, not too far behind it as well. And this is not an invest as of now, but this has a 30% chance of development in the next 7 days. But I also want to mention this red area. This red area is actually Invest 95L. Let's take a look at our sea surface temperatures. Definitely have some conductive sea surface temperatures, as the Gulf is basically all around near 30 degrees Celsius, which is 85 to 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And back here in the Atlantic, it's more around maybe 28 degrees Celsius. But in the Caribbean too, it's pretty hot. But the thing with the Caribbean right now is we have a TUT, which is a high pressure up here that brings winds down into this area, and it creates lots of shear, and it just shreds tropical systems, because tropical systems do not like wind shear at all, but tornadoes do. So that's why usually when you have tornadoes in tropical systems, they are not that strong. But yeah, let's take a look at the models. This is the GFS. We're going to start it off around 8 p.m. June 28th. This is June 28th, 2024. So let's go ahead and get this started. We see our tropical wave down here, as you might be able to see just under my cursor. And then we'll keep it moving. It does eventually pop off that L. That's a 1002 millibar, which most likely would be a tropical storm. But once we get into June 30th, which is Sunday, this is definitely a tropical storm based off the GFS, 995 millibar low pressure as well. But then we keep it moving. It gets possibly to hurricane, or most likely a hurricane. This is 982 millibar low pressure, most likely a category 1, and possibly a strong one. But then we keep this moving. Gets to a 968 millibar low pressure. So that's most likely a category 2 hurricane, and probably a strong one at that. And then it gets all the way down to a 966 millibar low pressure, which most likely is a strong category 2, maybe even a low end category 3, but I think that's most likely going to be a category 2. And it gets into the Caribbean, and there it goes, start to weaken. 978 millibars here on July 2nd. And then we keep this moving. For the July Eve, I guess you could say, July 3rd. This has a 983 millibar low pressure, and then it's still dying, but it's been able to maintain it a little bit. And then early July 3rd, in the morning, based off the GFS, this starts to die, and still might be a tropical storm, but then it's completely shredded. And then You can actually see that wave behind it. Let's take a look at that on the models. So don't pay attention to this front one now because we just reviewed that. Take a look back here. We'll keep this moving. Then that one pops off. It's L. That's 1005 millibar low pressure based off of the GFS. Keep this moving. Get below 1,000 millibars. That's most likely going to be a tropical storm. And then on July 4th, it shows it as a 980 millibar hurricane. So this would be a hurricane by then. And then it gets it all the way down to a 978 millibar low pressure. Most likely a Category 1, maybe Category 2. Then we will keep this moving, and then once again, that system gets shredded by shear. We'll have to watch for any more tropical waves that might try to come off of Africa and form into something, but nothing as of now. But now we're getting into the long range, and the GFS is not very reliable. Let's take a look at the European model. This is starting off around 5 p.m. June 28th, 2024, and you can already see that system, 1009 millibar low pressure, and it maintains that, and it slowly gets stronger. That's a 1006 millibar low, so most likely tropical depression, maybe a low-end tropical storm, but then it gets to 998 millibars based off the European, and then that's definitely a tropical storm as of then. And then it does get into the Caribbean, and still maintained for a little bit. Let's take a look at the model run before that. The model run before actually had it as a hurricane, and then it got in, and then actually was able to maintain itself for the most part, and then makes landfall in Central America. But we will have to wait for that new model run to come out at, I believe, 12Z is when we will have that full European model run. But as of now, we cannot get it too far out, as this is a short model run. Let's take a look at the lower 48. These are watches, warnings, and advisories. We have a large area of heat advisories and excessive heat warnings in portions of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. And then we have some smaller areas of heat advisory like South Florida, portions of New Jersey, and the very tip of Delaware, and a little bit of New York State. And then we have another area over here in New Mexico. We also have excessive heat watches in California as well. And we will take a look at our day 1 severe weather risk. We have a slight risk, which is a level 2 out of 5, and this does include Des Moines, Iowa, Omaha, Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, Colby, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, McCook, Nebraska, and Cheyenne. You are not in it, but you are extremely close to it. And then we have a smaller 5% tornado risk. This does include Kansas City, Missouri, Overland Park, Kansas, and Topeka, Kansas as well. And then we have a large 2% tornado risk surrounding that. That does include La Crosse and Des Moines, Iowa. Then we have another 2% tornado risk. This does include Fargo, North Dakota, and I believe it's Minot, North Dakota. We have a 15% hatched risk of wind, which is a 10% risk of winds exceeding 75 miles an hour, which is hurricane force. And we just have a 15% hail risk as well. We also have a day 2 slight risk. This does include Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Columbus, Ohio, and Buffalo, New York. We have a 5% tornado risk that does include Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And then we have a 15% wind risk, and then a 5% hail risk back in portions of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri, New Mexico, and Colorado. We also have a day 3 slight risk, and we have 2 of them actually. One on the East Coast and one in portions of North Dakota and Montana. Both of these, as of now, are just a 15% risks. A 15% risk of severe weather. Then we have, once again, a day 4 15% risk. This could get bumped up to an enhanced risk, but I think it will probably maintain its slight risk, but we will just have to see what that does. But this is day 4, 15% risk of severe weather as well. Once again, this does include Omaha, Nebraska, and more places like Sioux Falls and Peoria, South Dakota. So with that, one last look at the tropics. Let's go to the satellite here. Let's take a look at Invest 94L. Not too organized, but it's trying to get its act together. Let's take a look at 95L. Looking very organized. Definitely looks like it's a tropical depression for sure. And then that other tropical wave behind it. Not too well developed, but it will also try to get its act together. So with that, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if this helped you out in any way, or if you enjoyed this video or any of my other videos. And make sure to leave a comment below on how you think these tropical systems will act, and how you think, where you think they will go. So with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one, everybody.